Hey guys, Anime Core 5 here, and today I wanted to go over talking a little bit, pretty much about the whole stuff related to about fan service, um, and also going over a bit about other things as well besides fan service. Pretty much talking about the woke culture as well, because I think this is a good scenario for me to talk about it, and I figure me playing some Dead or Alive 5 while showing off some gameplay would also be a really good thing to show. So, let's begin by let me begin first by saying that I am in support of fan service. I do not like censorship. I do not like companies supporting censorship. And I honestly don't think it's wise for companies who should be listening to people who demand you to censor something. I don't like, companies listening to a crowd of people who don't know jack about anything. They're not even part of the gaming community. They don't play video games. They despise it. They despise everything and everything. If you dare to question them, they'll cancel you. They'll dig it through many of your past posts on social media, whether that be Twitter, via X, or maybe Facebook or wherever, and they'll basically use it against you. Now, if we move to, let's take for example Starfield. Now, yes, that game does not have fan service, but the one thing it does have is it forces you to use pronouns. Why should you use pronouns? You shouldn't, because no one gives a fuck about pronouns, and apparently according to Nexus mods, they apparently have the ability to ban it. Anytime you so for those who don't know what Nexus Mods is, it's a website where you can upload mods, and mods are basically a special type of idealistic type of extra thing that's basically that changes. The best way I can describe it is it's a special type of thing that can basically make some alterations to whatever the actual normal game use is actually. So, for example, a good example is if you take like Tales of Berseria, for example. You take a game like Tales of Berseria, you can maybe make some alterations. Let's say you want maybe like some of the female characters to go completely nude. There you go. That's one way of doing it. There's other different ways as well to also add some fan service if you want. But yeah, Starfield apparently. So from what's currently happening, and because since Hills versus Babyface made a very, very interesting video talking about fan service and such. Yeah, it's either you stand on the podium of agreeing with the people who are against pronouns and for those who support it. Most people would not support pronouns. You don't need pronouns in your bio, nor do you need to say it in front of people. Trust me, I have already met like at least a couple people that have actually like literally said their pronouns in front of me, and that was back when I was taking a pseudo production class last year during the fall. And trust me, I did not actually approve of them one bit using a fucking pronoun. We already know that you identify as a he or her. I mean, as a he/him if you're a guy. Because how do we know? Simple. You don't have a schlong. I mean, you have a schlong. You don't have boobs. You have fucking like hair all over your fucking goddamn body. You have a masculine voice. Therefore, we already know that you already go by he/him, okay? The same thing applies for a female. So if you are born with boobs, you have long hair, you have, you don't have a Johnson, there you go. You identify as a she/her. And as for they, them, that's really just a fucking ridiculous optional pronoun that really should not be involved in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry to the ones who I'm actually currently offending, who either are mistransgender or transgender or whatever, but you can really just say, oh, I'm a male inside of a woman's body. There you go. Because if you think about it, transgender is basically a mix between a male and a female, okay? Either A, you're born with a female head in a man's body, or the complete opposites. I've met a couple. I've met a couple. So, and honestly, am I offended? No. I mean, I don't care if you're transgender. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're a lesbian or bisexual or whatever. You are who you are. You know, just deal with it. That's all I can say. And as for everything else, yeah, I completely, I stand by for what I say here. And let's see, what else? God, there's a lot I have to say. Let's see, what else? Yeah, the whole thing with pronouns is absolutely ridiculous. So, even if you make a mod and you upload it, even if you make a mod to remove pronouns, it apparently gets isolated and it gets shot down. And really, that's just like, and for the people who say, oh, it's no big deal, and then of course you upload it, and then people do make the people that are so totally like the whole thing with pronouns, they're like, they completely like get offended by it, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and fanservice is not even better either, because you know what? First of all, video games, before it became a woke, bloated area, because every normie wants to be on the train, and because a lot of them don't actually play video games, they all of a sudden need to find something to get offended by, so they look to fan service, and because they think it's objectifying to women. First of all, there's a difference between reality and fiction. Fiction is basically anything that's made up. If you think about, you go into a library, right? There's two types of books. One that have stories that are completely made up, which is fiction, and then there are real that are actually happening in real time, which is non-fiction. Get the picture? So, I'm currently playing a game that features fictional characters. Is this offensive to you? It shouldn't be offended. It shouldn't offend you at all. Because it's fictional. It's not real. Not real is not real, meaning it's fiction. Not real is fake. Therefore, you wouldn't see, an actual fight with female characters like these in real life. That's the thing. That's what people have to understand. But apparently, a lot of people in this current day and age are fucking dumb, stupid ass retarded that they don't even realize that they're just basically screwing everything up for the rest of the world. No one gives a fucking shit about video games. The only people who do are the people who play video games, and because those are the ones that enjoy fan service. Fan service is what brings in money, brings in views, brings in a lot of stuff. And on top of it too, let's shift gears for a second. Let's shift over to other stuff besides that. We also have games that come out being such a glitchy ass mess that are horrible. Starfield is definitely one of those because it's Bethesda. Bethesda is really well known for not creating their games to be perfectly amazing once it gets released. And the problem is too, a lot of companies don't ever consider about putting games on beta before upon release. You know, if you do a lot of open to closed beta, people can then get a sense of, okay, how the game is run, how does it feel, you know, are there, you know, like, you know, how's the pacing in the game, you know, or is the movement of characters like slow, you know, where can it improve? Beta, okay, having a closed beta and demos is really good because it really gives the developers a sense of understanding of where they can improve upon in the game. That's the whole point of demos in the first place. A demo is basically where you get to try out the game before it's even completely finished. Now, for those who don't know the difference between an open and closed beta, an open beta is basically where anybody can just go to either the actual website or onto either PlayStation or Steam or whatever in one of their stores, and then if you want to try out for the beta, all you gotta do is just sign up for it easily. And then closed beta is basically where the developers basically choose who gets to partake in the actual game, who gets to partake in in the closed beta for the game. So basically, it's a small amount of people, of players, who get to actually test out the game to see how it runs before they actually put it to release. That's the whole point. But a lot of developers don't do that. At least to my knowledge. Some still do them. I mean, Capcom did one for Street Fighter 6. Let me see, who else? I'm trying to... Oh, yeah, there's Wayfinder. That game's already out. But yeah, there was a closed beta for it. Same thing for some of the Dragon Ball Z games by Bandai. So, it's there black and white. Clearly. And then, if we look at other games... I mean, and then the whole thing with early access is, like, basically you can access the game, but it's... The developer still has to put more like... let's just say that there's still some stuff, you know, the developers have to work on the side. But basically, that's what early access is it basically gives you, like, an early hands-on onto the game. And then over time, it'll get better and better as the developers make some improvements and stuff like that. So there you go. So there's your little learning lesson 101 for those out there who are interested in closed beta or open beta or stuff. And I think there's an age limit. I think you have to be. I'm not sure this 100% true. So someone can go ahead and clarify it for me. Over on, someone can go ahead and clarify that over on in the comment section down below if they wish to clarify that with me. But other than that, yeah, I mean that's basically what it is. And yeah, and it's so funny. So Azure Lane. So for those who don't know, it's essentially a free to play. I think it's a gacha game that you can actually download and play on Android or iPhone. And yeah, they released there's like a new I think DLC character or something. And I was just watching under Vera Dark, who's she's a great YouTube creator. She creates a lot of newsworthy content. So yeah. And yeah, apparently over on Twitter, there's like a lot of people that have just literally, you know, throw their hats in the ring, complaining about, oh my god, you know, this new DLC is basically, you know, it's disgusting and gross and it's objectifying to women. But I'm like, it's fictional, it's not real. And that's the problem. What I feel like a lot of people get wrong. So overall, I just think. My overall assessment of this is that one way or another, eventually companies are going to have to realize that this whole chasing ESG is not going to work, okay? I mean, let's look at Final Fantasy 16 real quickly, okay? Yeah, yes, the game is available on PlayStation. It is available on PlayStation 5, but the problem is that there's only a small handful of gamers that actually do play on PlayStation 5. Most of the others are either on PC or still play on their PlayStation 4 or are even on Nintendo Switch or Xbox. That's it. And Square Enix, they're on their part, they should have actually like made the game available on pretty much like the most, on pretty much all hardware. PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Why did they not do that? That's the problem. And yeah, now it's kind of they kind of have been losing their edge. Now, I'm still on the camp with Kingdom Hearts because I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I love Kingdom Hearts. I played the first one. I played the second. I played a little bit of Chain of Memories. I got really far, but once it came to facing with Marluxia, I just was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't. And then I'm trying my best to go back and completing Dream Drop Distance, but it's gotten to the point now where like I can't compete in that game anymore against players. Against the enemies, because like such as Ansem or the anti-coat organization 13 guy. It's just like the overall fighting gameplay is just really annoying. That's pretty much it. But number 3, I really wish that they had expanded Twilight Town a little bit more. Instead of the Tram Common area, like if you remember Kingdom Hearts 2, where like the whole entire aspect of the area was pretty much just like that candy shop, that jewelry shop, and others. It was cool that that they actually like expanded in Kingdom Hearts in number 3, but all the other areas they should have like literally like proved in other areas. And I kind of understand like why Nomura didn't put Final Fantasy characters in it, which I can kind of understand now, is due to their time constraints and such like that. But I have that feeling that Kingdom Hearts 4 may actually go back and actually have more Final Fantasy characters, possibly. Because it'd be great to have some Final Fantasy characters, and then of course when I watched the State of Play, which again I still do not approve of what they have done to Final Fantasy VII when it came to the remake, because Final Fantasy VII, I love the original. I will always love the original no matter what. No matter how much someone tells me that the remake is better, it's the only thing that's better about it is the actual look of the actual game, but the gameplay and the story make absolutely no sense to me. I don't want a game that doesn't have a good story. Sephiroth is supposed to be the main villain. That's the whole point. The whole point of the game is Sephiroth being the main evil villain who Cloud and his team have to go out and annihilate to save the world. That is the whole point. But apparently there's a side of gamers that apparently think the opposite. And I just do not approve. So there is my whole entire sense. And then as for and we're going by the State of Play thing from what we saw, because there was the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then there was also they did show off some. I think it was also shown at Nintendo's Direct as well. They showed off some Tomb Raider, the remaster of the original, and it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna deny it looks pretty cool. Though I actually prefer the one back in 2014 or 2016, with the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition HD. That one was actually pretty cool. I actually love that to death. I think that was a really great game. The second one was all right, but then the third one was just like I just gave up because like there's just like so many things that were like completely wrong with the third one. The second one was decent, but the first one I just love because it's just the exploring of like of Himiko and her commanding of the Chinese / Japanese army. That was actually pretty cool. But yeah. So yeah, I think for the most part, I just really just want the whole fan service to be back. I really think gaming should go back to basically being a niche hobby because I definitely know modern day gaming is dying. I know that much because gamers are actually, you know, like some gamers are now waking up and realizing that, hey, you know what, you know, they're now being, you know, it's all about being, you know, skeptical about what the game is gonna be like. I mean, I even actually remember playing one game that was I think it's called like Fae Farms, and apparently in that game for PC, I mean, because it's on multiple consoles, okay, it's on multiple places, but that game, it's like they actually give you a pronoun, and it's like, I don't want a pronoun in my bio. I'm sorry, in my name. I just want to just make my own character and then play. And yeah, overall, I just don't approve. And I've already told myself that moving forward, I mean, I'm only gonna be playing games that any game that doesn't feature pronouns, I'll play. Any game that actually does, I'm gonna just say fuck you. I'm not playing it. Because why the fuck should I care about pronouns when it's not really necessary? I mean, people shouldn't be putting in their bios in the first place either. That's the most fucked up part about it overall. It really is just, we live in such a society currently where people just are so goddamn dumbass stupid. They don't use logic. They clearly think that it's better to have, you know, to have pronouns in your bio. It's like, no, it isn't. You don't need pronouns. And honestly, gaming is gonna definitely go back to being niche again eventually soon. It will. In terms of anime, I definitely know Japan is kind of like chasing that currently the whole ESG trend with their whole ethics department. And I don't really know much about, like, I know a little bit about ESG, but I'm still unaware about like what it actually kind of means. But I know that the internet and a lot of YouTubers that are much more better than that have a lot more higher amount of subscribers definitely have a lot more understanding of what ESG means. And honestly, yeah, but basically it's like environmental, social, something. And it's like, it's essentially taking away the freedom of creating a game, with no fan service, all to just get like a good high social score on something. And I'm kind of like, and the one question, there's a couple questions I feel like a lot of developers can kind of have that kind of need to answer this question. What is the whole point of ESG score? Like, what is the value of chasing this? Like, do you get a prize? Do you earn money? Do you get like, do you get like a whole bunch of cool awesome shit by chasing this? By chasing the trend of ESG? Or is it just really just to listen to just suck the ass living dick of woke crowd because they get so offended by seeing everything. I mean, like, okay, in video games, most games should not just feature just only men, and you should not make women look like men at all. You should make women look like women. Make them look sexy, look pretty, look beautiful. That is what makes things better for everyone. Boobs are awesome. Look at Hitomi's boobs. Her boobs are amazing. there's nothing wrong with looking at this woman's boobs. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not hurting you. Seriously. I mean, and honestly, I feel like what the developers for Azure Lane are doing is good. I totally approve. I approve of any company that's willing to put in the time and energy to create games that feature fan service. Fan service have an overall great game, and I feel like a lot of games really need to bring back like a lot of replayability. Replayability, a lot of fun, and games need to go back to being challenging. You know, the journalists need to leave. They do not belong here at all. The journalists need to leave. Gaming needs to go back to being a niche hobby, and it's fine if it wants to stay a popular hobby, but it needs to be a niche hobby where basically anybody who has a problem with seeing fan service and boobs and such and wants it censored, they should be kicked out immediately. Throw them out. Don't let them in. Keep them out. They are not the vast majority of people. And honestly, it's just so stupid. But yeah, overall, I just have to say, just for the love of God, don't play games that feature pronouns, okay? Don't play any games that feature pronouns unless, of course, you don't really seem to care, then fine. If you don't care about them, then alright, fine, be my guest. But for those who actually do, who are totally against the whole pronouns thing, awesome. I applaud you. And for those who love boobs and female asses, I totally approve. Because that proves that you're a man/woman of culture. Anyone who doesn't can go ahead and get fucked. Seriously. I don't care. And neither should you. So yeah, anyways, sorry for this long amount of rant, but if you guys love this content and you want to help show some awesome support, definitely check out all my past videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, comment, of course, down below, and yeah, more content should be up in the future, possibly if I can get down to it. I just have other stuff going on, pretty much mostly playing a lot of gaming, obviously, and overall, I'm just currently just enjoying life right now. So, anyways, that about wraps it up here. So, this is Anime Core A5, and catch you guys next time. I'll try to get back to making more Let's Play Tales of Arise and stuff like that, and others. Alright? With that, I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.